Hey friends, hope you're well. Today we're in Shenzhen, a futuristic megacity known as the Silicon Valley of China. It's a crazy city where drones deliver food to you directly. They have the largest electronic market in the world, and it's a global tech manufacturing hub with some of the most innovative tech I've seen yet. And I'm here in this city to give you guys an exclusive behind the scenes look and tour into a global tech brand that is innovating the way that you and I sleep every night. So let's go check it out. This is the first episode in the Behind the Design video series where brands open their doors and you get to peer into the innovation and production process of the world's biggest tech brands. So I hope this video series will be fun to watch, informative, and maybe you'll learn a thing or two. If that sounds good, drop this video a like. So in this video, we're going behind the scenes at, you might have already guessed it, 8 Sleep, the world's first sleep fitness brand with a simple but challenging mission to improve your sleep. 8 Sleep produces a range of products that help optimize your sleep quality through things like bed temperature, elevation, and sleep data to help you get the most out of every night. When I first heard of this company, truth be told, I was skeptical and I was wondering really how effective it could be at improving my sleep. But after using it religiously for years now, I almost cannot sleep without it, and I'm not even exaggerating. So I'm really excited to be partnering with 8 Sleep to go behind the scenes and see how the innovative hardware is created from scratch in their top secret factories right here in Shenzhen. All right, guys, we are here at the very first factory here with Harry, who's the lead technical program manager at 8 Sleep. And basically, he turns all the cool ideas at 8 Sleep into those real life products that we see, like the Pod 5. And yeah, I'm really excited to show you guys what's behind the scenes right here.
Yeah, Andrew, nice to meet you. Looking forward to showing you and you guys how we build our product.
Let's go. So you guys are in for a treat. We're going to take you through 3 very unique factories where you'll get to see in detail how tech products like the 8 Sleep Pod are manufactured from scratch. And this entire process blew my mind. It was far more interesting and complicated than I thought it would be. This is the very first factory, and here you'll see how raw materials are turned into a sophisticated tech product that's shipped around the whole globe. So we're at the very first station, and this is one of the fundamental pieces that go into the pod in my home and the pod if you have one at home. So Harry, I'm pretty curious, like, what is this and what goes into the fundamentals of the 8 Sleep Pod?
So this is where every pod cover starts. It's a special cut piece of foam, and as you can see here,
there's a lot of grooves in this.
Yeah, there are a lot of grooves, and the grooves are specifically for the tubes that get laid into the cover.
Yeah, so there's obviously a lot of tubing here. Everyone's hand laying it. So I'm curious, like, what's happening here with, like, why are they hand laying the tubing into all the crevices here?
The tubes is what carries the water, and you see all the grooves, like basically they're going to be all filled up with the tubes.
Looks like alien space crops here.
the little crop circles.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's a very specific pattern, allows the water to flow efficiently, and it tries to optimize the heating and cooling that's transferred to the body.
Makes a lot of sense. It's covering the entire foam piece here. So personally, when I first started using the original pod, it was completely different to the pod systems 8 Sleep manufacturers today. Going through the factory, you can see the innovation, thought process, and teamwork that has gone into every step of the process to completely redesign and reiterate their products many times over. So the product is more comfortable and reliable, and it's so cool seeing this firsthand here. So now here, we've got these what look like black worm looking things, right? So I'm gonna assume that these are the sensors?
Yeah, that's right. So this is the start of us placing the sensors into our product. These ones, even though they look like worms, they're actually designed to be very comfortable and invisible. These are the sensors that will ultimately give us our sleep score, our heart rate, and basically tell us how well we slept every night.
Another element I was surprised to learn about is just how much rigorous testing each of these components go through. They're not just built and slotted in. 8 Sleep has created custom machines to test almost every component, from the sensors to the Pod 5 buttons and everything in between. So you're probably getting an idea of how complicated and precise this entire process can be. Every single station had a specific task with very specific processes, and surprisingly, a lot of it is still being done by hand to ensure quality is maintained.
So another really interesting thing is every single time a cover is made, we actually have specific identification for exactly how each cover was made, who made it, when it was made, and what materials went into it, and we record this down. So if there ever was going to be a problem out in the field, we can actually trace back to how it was made. In all the steps that you saw earlier, we were actually building half a bed. And this is actually where the two halves join together and form a complete cover, or the internal components of a complete cover. So internally, we actually call this step the marriage.
Oh, that's brilliant. So like that's only applicable to the bigger than single beds, right? So the marriage system is applicable to, what size is this? Is this a king size?
So this would be a king size bed, correct.
And so they're sort of just rolling and joining everything together.
Yeah, so it is actually a very special tape that we've developed that actually holds the two beds together. We actually did a lot of work to make sure that this joint is very reliable and robust to different movements and also over the long periods of time. We want to make sure that this particular joint is very robust, especially to the various movements that happen and also the longevity of the bed.
All right, guys, we're now in the next room, and I believe they're testing the potential leaks here.
Yeah, that's right. So now that the product is coming together, we want to make sure that all the tubes and everything has been assembled correctly. And so here we're doing a leak test. The way we do this is we inject air into the system and we're looking for pressure drops, which then indicates that there is a leak. We actually look for very, very minute changes in pressure down to the 0.1 Pascal. So it gives us a really high resolution to make sure that all the tubes are sealed up properly and that the system has been built properly. So once it passes the air leak test, it moves on to the next station. We also inspect the product, make sure everything is assembled correctly and that everything is functional and ready to go on to the next stages. After the product has been visually inspected and everything looks good, it's ready to go into a box and off to our next station and factory.
And obviously this is not the final delivery box that goes to the customer. Let's clarify. So like that is going out to the next factories for the next steps.
Yeah, that's right. So there'll be another factory that actually then builds this into the pod cover that you see when you open the box.
So I think you guys will get to see the actual packaging that goes directly to you in the next factory. It's very loud, the tape. But yeah, we'll see that in the next factory. So this is another factory, and this one's quite interesting because this is where all the components come together into the final product. I think that's what it is, right?
Yeah, that's right. Come on through. So Andrew, this is the room where we produce a lot of our covers. This is the cover that goes over the mattress. So we start off with the thermal core, which is what we produce in the previous factory. And in this room, extra steps come together to put on all the other components that turns it into the pod cover.
Yeah, so I'm really seeing all the components from the first factory come into life here.
Yeah.
You can really start to see the mattress, all the components.
Yeah, so in a lot of these stations, this is where we're assembling a lot of the sensors that go underneath the cover, a lot of the control system, a lot of the electronics. This is actually pretty unique. There aren't that many places in the world, or there aren't that many products in the world that encompasses a lot of the larger bedding type products, as well as a lot of the delicate electronics that need to basically come together to then form the 8-sleep cover.
So these are all the electronic specifics in the hub.
Yeah, that's right. So a lot of the mechanical and electrical components that form the hub is all produced here. Jackie, how many components are there in the hub?
We have 500 electronic parts in the hub, and also we have over 115 mechanical parts for sub-assembly as the final hub.
So 150 mechanical parts, 500
electrical components.
So that's over 600 components that go into the hub itself, and it's no wonder it goes through various stages of testing for quality assurance. The hubs are also each connected to the 8 Sleep app and simultaneously tested to ensure that everything is working as it should before they move on. And that's why identification in factories like these are so crucial, like Harry was talking about earlier. It's always an opportunity to reiterate and improve any potential flaws.
So you can just imagine with the 150 mechanical components that come into the hub, each one of those will need to be produced and prepared and then brought into this room, which then turns into the final hub.
Yep.
So along the way, there are a lot of assembly processes that come together. But once again, as each component comes together, it gets tested and inspected before then it moves on to the next station.
Yeah, obviously, like the theme here is quality assurance, make sure that every component is working exactly how it should be.
Yeah.
And each of these steps take a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, for instance, this is a pretty cool station. This is where we produce a lot of the components that feed into the part that makes the water hot and cold. We call that the thermal engine.
Most favorite part of the pod system, obviously.
That's
cooling
right.
in summer and heat in winter. This
Yeah.
is how it happens.
Yeah, exactly. So this part here is on one side of this system that handles the water. And then it's actually married up with the other part of this system that then helps to extract any heat or help inject any heat to heat and cool as needed. And thermal paste allows us to really join the components together and get that thermal transfer to work as efficiently as possible.
Exactly like what you see on CPUs and PCs. The thermal paste goes on top of the cooling fan, or I should say underneath.
It's a little bit more complicated than
Yeah,
the PC cooling because we have to be able to control the direction of heat transfer. So sometimes when you're cooling, heat will actually flow in a certain direction.
Yeah.
So after we assembled all of the components, we have to test the system together as one thing to make sure all the integration is done right. And we want to make sure that all of the components coming together are working as anticipated before we then put the final panels on and then it gets shipped out.
But what if it fails a test here? What happens?
Yeah, interesting question. So we want to make sure that happens as little as possible. We definitely don't want any failures to occur at this point here. But if it does, it's a big learning opportunity for us. Typically, this learning opportunity allows us to identify a process further back in the production that then may have gone wrong, which led to a failure in this particular case. That's a great learning opportunity for us. If we can protect it there, then that just increases the quality and the reliability of the product over here.
All right, so these are finally looking like what is being shipped out to my house when I order one. They're doing the final checks here, I'm assuming?
Yeah, that's right. So now all the components are placed in, the product has been tested. They're doing the final inspections to make sure everything is going to look and feel okay before it goes into the final box.
Basically, these guys are doing like unboxings every day. It's like the fun part, essentially. They're ripping off the stickers, making sure that everything looks clean. And everything does look very spick and span. So what we saw back there was them starting to make sure that it looks good, that it starts to be packaged up. And this looks like the final product, finally.
Yeah, that's right. So along all of the production and the assembly and the testing, this is where the product gets put into the boxes and sent to the end user. Even though there's a lot of engineering that goes into the boxes to make sure that it can hold the cover.
That's really interesting because a lot of people don't know that. Like, there's actually a lot of engineering that goes into the boxes alone, let alone like the hub and the tech itself.
The packaging is basically product itself.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So you may think the process ends here after it ships out to you guys, but it actually is only the beginning. The next factory is one of the most important, and it's where they've built custom machinery to stress test their products in so many situations to better iterate and improve on their products.
We're at our third and final spot. It's apparently called the test lab, and we've got given these safety glasses. What's up with these?
Yeah, so now that we've built and constructed our product, we also do a lot of testing to make sure the products can survive, in a reliable way and then can stand the years of use and abuse that is going to follow. The safety glasses is because we do a lot of destructive testing and therefore products may break at any point in time. So safety first.
And I think this may be my favorite spot. Let's go check it out.
Come on through.
Also, it is worth mentioning that not every single pod, base, and blanket are tested before they get shipped out to customers. 8 Sleep uses a batch testing approach. So with this approach, 8 Sleep has designated samples to test and get data on, and the ones that you and I buy and get shipped to our homes are brand new and untouched.
Yeah, so this is our big space here. This whole room is just dedicated to testing and destroying our product. So this test helps to accelerate the years of use and abuse that our covers will basically be exposed to. We can actually cycle these covers up to 100,000 times before we see anything eventuate.
I'm recognizing that they're actually off center at the moment. What's up with that?
Actually, that's a really good question. Kathy, do you know?
Yeah, these two lines just present different things. The first line presents people sit on the edge of the cover. The other side simulates how the birdie applied on the mattress. So what happens?
Well, there's a lot of other machines in here. Let's go check out the others.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is an interesting one. We typically test lots of use cases, but we also test a lot of abuse cases. So in this particular case, someone could be tripping over our water cord, which puts a lot of tugging force onto what is holding the tubes together. So we're actually simulating this being pulled for over 50 pounds of force again and again and again. Yeah, so this is a really cute little station. Remember those tubes that we custom designed and built? So we do
the
a lot
100 meters worth per...
Yeah. So one of the most critical parts of the tube is how it connects to the manifold or the other tubes in the system. So in this particular case, we're actually simulating that joint where the tube joins the other components, as that's all very critical. And we're really abusing it here, but you can see how much it stretches, and we keep doing this off axis to make sure that this joint is going to be as robust as possible throughout the life of the product.
If you can see this here, it is basically stretching about 20 centimeters each tug, which is very surprising. And now I'm wondering what type of material this is.
That's proprietary.
There we go. So it's a special type of material, and it's extremely stretchy, so it seems quite durable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the stretch that you see here is far beyond anything you expect to see in the product, but we do this to make sure if it can survive this, they can definitely survive its life inside the product.
Yeah, so durability is extremely important for the pod system. I mean, it's getting used every single night, every single day.
People are moving about the bed throughout the night. People are going to bed every single night for years and years and years ahead.
Yeah, and we're just trying to emulate everything being pushed to its limits, basically.
That's right.
What is this here?
Yeah, so similar to the pusher test that we had earlier on, this also simulates years and years of use and abuse on the cover. Remember all of those tubes and the foam and the sensors? This weight here rolls across the bed, and it's stressing each particular one over and over again.
And this is obviously a very large looking thing. How heavy is it roughly?
Yeah, that's a good question, Kathy.
Yeah, it's about 109 kilograms.
109 kilograms.
That's about 240 pounds.
240 pounds, 109 kilograms. That's definitely not something you want to be under right now.
Yeah, that'll be a really, really rough massage.
Yeah, pretty rough massage. But I mean, it's giving a nice massage to the 8 Sleep system right now, and basically stress testing it roughly it's doing this the entire day, right? How long will this last until failure?
Yeah, it goes through days and days and days of uses.
Yeah.
We test our covers to 100,000 cycles.
100,000 cycles.
Yeah, we would run these up to 100,000 cycles and not see any issues.
Also, it's worth mentioning that not every single pod is tested. That wouldn't be possible. And the ones that you and I buy are brand new and untouched, but the team back in the lab are only sample testing per batch. After visiting 8 Sleep's factories, I am more convinced than ever that we'll live in a future where probably most beds will have inbuilt tech to continually optimize for deeper, better sleep, and maybe even be able to detect diseases for early intervention. A huge shout out to the entire 8 Sleep team who were so incredibly friendly. It was definitely a once in a lifetime experience to remember, and I'm really grateful for 8 Sleep for making this first behind the design episode possible, and of course you guys for joining us on this tour. I hope you enjoyed the very first episode in this behind the design video series. Let me know which brand I should check out next and give you a behind the curtains look into. If you made it to the very end of this video, be sure to comment the code word Shenzhen and I'll give it a like. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.